The project Lekutei Sichas that they learn every week, they have 2 Sichas. From Lekutei Sichas, there's a program where to learn 2 Sichas called Project Lekutei Sichas.
Yeah.
And they have Magid Shiurim. So there's a Sicha in Chelik Chav Ches. Yud Beis Tamuz, Yud Beis Gimel Tamuz, where the Rebbe speaks about the fact that on Yud Beis Tamuz, Tov Reish Pei Zayin, the Friedrich, when he was told that he's going to be freed, but the paper, they couldn't give it to him to the next day because it was a holiday. So he said a maimer, Havaya li be'oizroi v'anir b'seinai. The next day, Yud Gimel Tammuz, when he was actually given the official document of liberation, he said another maimer, Baruch hagem l'chayam tevish b'mali tev. So the Rebbe asks that l'chayda, the Seder should have been the opposite. The first thing you think for the past, you thank for the past, and then you ask for the future, especially when you want to ask for Niyar B'Seinai, right? So the Rebbe, I'll say over one word at least. So the Friedrich Rebbe in this Maimer, in the Havaya Liebe Oizrei, says like this. What is Havaya Liebe Oizrei? It's mashma that there's many Oizreim, and the Eberster has many Oizreim, and amongst them he's also helping. We are Yidden Minim that the Eberster is the only Oizer or Mashiach in all inyanim of a Yid. And it's Ein Movad, there's nothing, it's all Hashem. So one that the Rebbe explains over there is that the Friedrich Rebbe, with saying this Maimer, wanted to accomplish something. And that is, the Inyan of Yud Beis Gimel Tammuz was a Nes Godel, very big miracle. But there was also Kamo Vekamo other Nisim Pratim, and one of them is, says the Rebbe, which at the time, the Rebbe said, hat mich gelegt kin 8 of them. People
pay attention.
Later on, when you're able to look back, it's a Nes Golui, I think it calls it L'maylam Derech HaTeva, that all the people involved in efforts to free the Friedrich Rebbe, and they were Tendliker like these, who put themselves into it in an undisguised way, openly. They went to the highest government, places, and they went and they wrote and they signed their name and they didn't hide. Which b'derech hateva, all people who were associated with the Friedrich Rebbe, before this story with the arrest, and later on, there was repercussions from it. Over here, none of the people Tzendliker mentioned, and not all of them were necessarily even Shem Torah Mitzvah. You could say they had a special schus. The Friedrich Rebbe had a special schus, that in his nest. He was schus Aves and his Mesiras Nefesh. The people who were involved were all kinds of people. And yet, Kainer, says the Rebbe, was hurt by this, not beguf, not benefesh, not even b'momen. And not even later on, let's say after Friedrich Rebbe left, they would get even with Kain der Nisht. It's a nes l'maylo mi'derech hateva, says the Rebbe. And this the Friedrich Rebbe accomplished through this Maimer, because in this Maimer the Friedrich Rebbe says, as the Eberster is the Ein Mulvadoi, this is from the Eberster Nalein. But the Friedrich Rebbe was saying, and I guess Ufgeton the Minyan, that over here, this Yeshua, this Hatzolah, what they were doing, it was not them. It was coming from Amita Simotzi, from the Ebersten Alain, as if it's not even their doing. To the point, the Rebbe says, that it becomes a question, so they shouldn't get... The Rebbe says the fact that they weren't harmed is not even a nes, because nobody can get into the way when the Amita Simotzi is doing something, nobody can touch that, nobody can affect that. Lefi zeh, they shouldn't be getting credit for it. But Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu mekapeach schar kol beria. So the Friedrich Rebbe says that in Oizroi, and in the Lashon of the Maimer over there, he says that the Oizroi means the Nitzutzis HaKedusha, was Vayiz Mevarer, they are the helpers. But then he says the Psaloshen, Bon Talmidim Kriyim Bonim. Nicht verstanden, was bringt ein Talmidim Kriyim Bonim? So So the Friedrich Rebbe said, aber wie kommt es rein dort? Der Oizrim seien die Netzutzes. Wie kommt er rein? Because the Friedrich Rebbe wanted to bring out that these Yidden who were helpers, by being helpers they became familiar to Banim, and b'meila, von der einen Seite sagt man, dass es von der Meibischen allein. Von der zweiten Seite sagt der Rebbe, als in den Talmidim Kriyim Banim und sie seinen, they get credit because the pale they did it. This is just one the Kudus. The Rebbe says, gewaltige.
Verbringen was never my forte. I could say a drasha, you know.
Okay.
Yes, but there was a story this week on the internet. I don't know, a couple of people saw it or not, but it's worth repeating. Mashpiyim would have made from it a Sudish B'Shaten. The story is about a young fellow, 30 years older. I think, according to the way I understood the name, he used to be a Mispalo here in Shul. I think the name was Luchkowski. I used to have Avram Lokshin and him were good chaverim. They were both Russian. They used to sit over here in the back. Then later he moved to Muncie, and I lost contact with him. My mom meets me on more, but with Avram Lokshin I have a contact. He even gives me some money for the show every year. So he's a Russian boy, and he used to come to the Rebbe like everybody else, you know. So then he stopped coming. He became a contractor, you know. He stopped coming. Why did he stop coming? Because he worked on Sundays. You know, Shabbos, he worked on Sundays. And, you know, the contract work, he paints and he plasters and so his clothing were not clean, you know, so he come with he had a wedding, so he got dressed up for the wedding, and he came to Dallas. When the Rebbe came up to the Rebbe said to him, "Wo bist du?" So he was like, he didn't know what to answer. So the Rebbe, Rebbe told him, the Rebbe's asking, "Where are you?" You know, so he said, "Ich bin da." He said, you know, "Where are you?" So he said, "Why didn't you come?" He said, "Well, ich bin schmutzig." So the Rebbe said to him, "Komm wie du bist, aber komm." So you can elaborate a lot on the story. But then a few days later, I read that there was some gathering to raise money for something, and Avram Fried made a song out of it. What's the song that he made? He took the Shpola Zaydas Niggin, you know, so he took that niggin and he took it to these words. And the words are, "Kom wie du bist, aber komm wie du bist, aber komm." I think it's an interesting thing that you could learn a lot from touch a lot into it, what it means. You know, come to the Rebbe, you get cleaned up a little. You know the nigga from the Shpol Seder?
He sings it. Kom wie du bist. Aber komm.
in the Mutter in Valdu deine Kinder. Ja, 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 la da da, ja, la da da, ja. Oh, ja, 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 la da da, ja. Oh, ja, ich shoy me ya, oh, la bonim koire. La da da, ja, la da da, ja. La da da, ja. Kinder, Kinder, wo seid ihr gewesen? Was habt mir hat ihr vergessen? Bonai, Bonai.
Kinder, Kinder, wie sommer geht's zu dir? Als der Hitte
Steht bei der Tür.
So, it seems like that's the end of the song. I'm not from the what they call there's a lot of people named Zayda, and that comes from the name Shvola Zayda. So they have an association, and the one that was very active was Gazinski. Gazinski, not the one that the Rosh Hashiva, his father yet, the one that he used to be the Balkoida by Rabbi Howard, in Rabbi Howard Shul. So they used to make every year a gathering for the Mishpacha. And one year, I don't know if it was him or his son, I don't know, Shalom Dover, I think. I don't remember if it was him or his son. They asked me to come to speak there. So I said, how do I come to speak there? I'm not from the Mishpacha. So, no, come, you're a good speaker, you'll tell something. The place I came. So they sang, this niggin is like the national anthem for the Mishpacha. Huh? Yeah. So I said that I don't know where I got it, but I once heard another piece of this niggin. And they asked me to sing it. What's the other bit? What's the idea of the niggin? The Irish is telling Yidden, where are you? What are the Yidden answering? It's very difficult to do tshuva, right? That's the Shem is stayed by the tea, they don't let everyone in. So there's another line to it, which goes this way. Bonai, Tanaschem Wayoyo, Ki Tshuva Lakomoyo. And in Yiddish, the song goes, they made it in English also, but the older people knew it just in Hebrew and in Yiddish. So in Yiddish, it goes like you say, Kinder, Bonai, everything goes. So in Hebrew, that is the way I said it. Bonai, Fanaschem, Wayoyo, Ki Tshuva Lakomoyo. Kinder, our time is falsch, weil Tshuva hält voraus. Some one or two of the old people said, he thinks he heard it, I don't know, but I sure didn't make it up, but I heard it being sung that way. There was once, years ago, in the early years, when the Rebbe started, he used to bring in the Besmedish upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Then later, when the crowd got too big for that Besmedish, so they used to make they gave it the name the Shalash. What was the Shalash? The Shalash was between the apartment houses and 770, there was a driveway. You know, when you walk down a ramp. The building originally belonged to a doctor, and the doctor had like a little hospital over there. So the patients used to drive down that ramp and make a turn, and they went under the building was garages. Today it's a part of the library, but under the building were garages. So that area, you needed for a car to be able to drive down and to turn or to back out and to get out. So there was an area over there. And that area, they used to cover it with a canvas.
Shalash in Russian means the tent.
Okay, I don't know, and they called it shalash. Who used to cover it? You know who used to cover it? Huh?
Mazal?
No.
Mazal, no?
No. Your father.
Yeah?
Your father together with Nachman Sudak.
Oh, yeah.
There were two chaverim. They got a few dollars every week. Like if the word got out that there's a Brennan, so they would cover it with a canvas that would come out over the. So I said, and somebody once said that Shabbos that you can't. I don't know who it is. People know. Maybe I knew and I forgot them. The people said that you can't verbring over there because it's kalt and schmutzig. And when the Rebbe heard that word kalt and schmutzig, that he blessed away by the verbringen. The end was verbracht over there, you know. But the word kalt and schmutzig, you know. I'm thinking, you know, when this guy said that the Rebbe schmutzig, it reminded me of this story.
I don't understand. They made a tent? I don't understand what they did.
Covered the area. Covered the area.
Between 770 and the two buildings to the corner.
784. No, between the 770.
When you walk down, there's like a ramp. Like when you walk down, there's a ramp there, and there's 3 doors.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you go. It was a yard, and there was the driveway for the cars to come in and go out.
Now there's a building there. When you then it was empty.
So they covered it with.
So over there, they used to make a sukkah there also. Yeah. Later they made the sukkah on the other side. But they used to make a sukkah there. So over there they had like when the Rebbe was Masat Kedusha, where was the chuppah? Yeah. So before the Nasias, the Rebbe used to go to the hall. So there were one hall was very popular, was known as Gold Manor. Gold Manor was, if you go between here and Williamsburg, there's a street called Willoughby. I got married also in Gold Manor, and then there's other people that used to get married on the east side. There was a hall over there. So the Rebbe used to go to the halls to be Masada Kedushin.
To east side also?
I think so. And then after the Nasias, the Rebbe didn't go already there, but they used to make the chuppah down over there in that place over there. That's where they used to make the chuppahs.
Tent.
When the Rebbe went to the east side to be Menachem Avram beyond the Rebbe, that was
What?
The Rebbe went to the east side to be Menachem Avram beyond the Rebbe.
No. The Rebbe went to the east side to the beyond the Rebbe's Revaya. Not to be Menachem Avram.
Huh?
You said to be Menachem Avram.
So afterwards he didn't say Amakam.
The Biana Rebbe lived on, I think, on East Broadway. And it happens to be that the Friedrich Rebbe was a Mechutin. He had an Edom. There was a third Edom. And the third Edom's name was Horenstein. Horenstein, through the Rebbe Marash, had a shagas with the Babish. I remember yet that there was a Yid by name, that Edom never got killed, but there was a relative that used to come to Fabrengus, Horenstein. When he died, they were really beyond Chassidim. So when he died, the Levaya was on the east side by the Biana Besmedesh. The Biana Besmedesh was like, they have the houses in Park Slope, the big stoop going up, and then there's a landing, and then you go inside. They have a name for those houses, but it's all, huh?
Brownstones.
Brownstone, yeah. And they're all attached. All the houses are attached. So the Rebbe, Horenstein's Levaya was over there. So the Rebbe went to Horenstein's Levaya. And he was waiting in the street. He didn't go up the steps. He was waiting in the street over there. They were waiting for the Biana Rebbe to come down. The Biana Rebbe Besmedesh was, when you went up the steps, you walked into the house, and there was a Besmedesh there. And the Rebbe lived above it on the second floor. So they were waiting for the Biana Rebbe to come.
And he was related to this Horenstein? The Biana Rebbe was related?
They were Biana Chassidim.
No.
The whole Horenstein Mishpach was Biana Chassidim. So they waited, everyone waited downstairs, and the Rebbe stood also waiting. As soon as the Biana appeared on the landing, the Rebbe ran up the steps and took his hand and walked down together with him. That's what happened over there.
You were there?
I saw it,
This is after the Nasias, when there was already a Rebbe?
Yeah.
Why should we call him?
Yeah.
The Rebbe told his grandson to become Rebbe.
What?
The Heintig Biana Rebbe,
Yeah, Heintig.
the Rebbe was one who told him to become Rebbe.
Heintig was really an American boy.
Correct. He's the son of Rabbi Brea.
Huh?
Rabbi Brea, who was a professor in Yeshiva University. Rabbi Brea had two sons and one daughter. One of them is a rocket science, was for NASA, and one of them was the Biana Rebbe today, who was a Yeshiva University boy.
Because he became, that rabbi, doctor, whatever he was, became a mechutner with Rabbi Luxstein. Okay? And this boy was
There was three children.
was born over there.
Rabbi Brea was married to the Biana Rebbe's daughter. He was an academic. He was at Yeshiva University with Rabbi Lamb.
Yeah.
There were deans over there. And he had three kids. One was modern Orthodox. Rabbi Brea, I know him, his name is Block. And then there's one who lives in California, he's a scientist. And then there was the middle one, who was in the middle. And the Rebbe encouraged him to become Rebbe, to take up the seers. He wears a black tie and a stripe. And when he gives his tishon and he speaks, he says the Rebbe sits.
He has a big crowd, guy.
It's getting bigger and bigger as
He has a big crowd. A bigger crowd than what his grandfather had.
I was by one of his malchus because his father was a rabbi of the shul in Sackler Lake for like 40 years.
But did he speak? They don't speak.
He spoke. He said I'm telling you, he said a sikha from the sikhs.
Yeah.
He said there's the Lubavitchers over here, so I'm going to say a sikha from the Rebbe. So he was always a chassid. He always was.
They hardly say Torah.
To be honest,
They're beyond. I don't know why, but they all come from the Rizhiner dynasty. There was a, and he was.